Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing another Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. God, that thing is just awesome, isn't it? Just looks amazing. Anyway, there's a Cryptis. Yeah, this one was sent in by the Gobbo King, and it's absolute nonsense. It's, yeah, well, no, it's not nonsense. It's that classic Vanguard Chaos build, of course. Yeah, that's right. He's got Marauder Horsemasters and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 aspiring champions. Totally normal. That, you know, that classic Vanguard build. Of course, you know, yeah. Unfortunately, no lords can follow him, but he's got Kolek here. He's got a Chaos Sorcerer of Metal as well, just for the final transmutation. And over here, he has another Shaggoth and a Gorbeast Chariot, so some very scary things. The thing is, you know, there might be a ton of these aspiring champions, but they're so cheap. They're like 550. I mean, they cost nothing. So, but they're super resilient. You know, 120 armor, 62 melee defense. They are very hard to kill. So this many of them, it's very good just to bog stuff down with. So his opponent here, yep, Dread Spears in his front line, which really should be over here if it's going to block anything that's actually attacking him in terms of infantry. Anyway, also, Blades of the Blood Queen. These guys won't have a problem killing aspiring champions. They just won't. Huge armor piercing, really good melee attack, and anti-infantry. They're going to do great. They're going to do great there. And aspiring champions, they don't have armor piercing themselves, so Blades of the Blood Queen, great there. Also, some Blackguard, they're going to do pretty well too with that armor piercing and high armor. Dark Shards, I mean, limited success, potentially, because there is silver shields, you know, but they do have the armor piercings, that's something. There is a Cryptis for the anti-large and armor piercing, which is very useful against Kolek and Shaggoth. There's also the Reaper Bolt Throws, but something tells me these guys aren't really going to get a lot of use. Also, Malekith. Malekith, brilliant here, big, sturdy boy. On that dragon, very, very deadly. I mean, look at that. Look at this weapon damage. It's so high. It is so high. It is very good. Also, he's got the Gaze of Malice. Not really good target for that, but he's got Soul Stealer. That's going to be great if stuff blobs up. And he's also got Word of Pain, which is perfect. You want that for the Shaggoths. Very, very useful indeed. So, speeding things up. Yep, here we are. That classic Chaos Vanguard build. You know the one. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. But you know, it kind of makes sense. You know, a load of anti-large, good anti-infantry there, and these guys can just keep any unit busy for a very, very long time. And Marauder Horsemasters, sadly, taking a heck of a lot of fire early, not really putting in much damage themselves. But the Cryptis doesn't regenerate, so any damage due to the Cryptis is quite good. Here we're going to see a final transmutation in a second. Any day now? Yeah, there we go. And it's just placed on the ground. Units are trying to escape it, but of course units are pushing in, so the Dark Shards can't really run out of it too easily. But a lot of these did just take the blow. They didn't have to. Here we're going to see a Lord of the Storms from Kolek, and when it's just a big square of infantry like that, you can see quite a significant amount of damage. And wow, great dodge from the Charybdis there, and all the infantry is just getting pinned in, you know, by all these aspiring champions. They're bogging everything down. And now the Marauder Horsemasters, they're back, very injured, but they are getting some pretty significant damage into the Charybdis. Kolek is helping, but at this point you really want to get a Word of Pain onto Kolek and dive Malekith down. Try and wipe out Kolek while there isn't a lot to support it. Over here, a Soul Stealer, perfect opportunity to jump into Kolek. Perfect opportunity to dive down there. Also, you don't really need to support this side because Blades of Blood Queen has this sorted. They will deal with all this stuff, fine. You really want that Soul Stealer on this blob. You want the, you know, the Blackguard to cover this side. Get Malekith in here, do some damage to Kolek. You know, have all this stuff nearby. And you want to keep the Charybdis alive. The Charybdis can do a lot of damage to Kolek. You know, with that anti-large and the armor piercing, it's very good. But now the other Shaggoth has arrived just in time for Malekith to come in here. And a Word of Pain was used, but it's used on the aspiring champions, which is a real mistake. Could have been down to lag, you never know. That can happen, but this was a mistake. You really wanted that on Kolek to weaken him so the Charybdis wouldn't get knackered. I mean, he's shattered now. That's terrible. Here you can see the Gorbeast Chariot. He's just been running through all the infantry. So much of the infantry is just completely absconded. Really, it's just the Blades of the Blood Queen and the Blackguard left in terms of the front line. Oh, there are Dread Spears, but huge charge downhill through the Blades of the Blood Queen. They're not designed for fighting chariots, so the Gorbeast Chariot have an absolute whale of a time there. Kolek, very injured though, but now so is Malekith. So that is not ideal. And that Shaggoth's still very healthy. Very healthy indeed. And look at all these. Look at all these. There's millions of them. I say millions. It's a very small model count, isn't it, for aspiring champions? But there's a lot of units. There's a lot of units indeed. This Sorcerer of Metal, he has been using the Forbidden Rod, so he's been doing damage to himself. in order to get more power for the final transmutation, which is well worth it if you're going to, you know, nuke a load of expensive units. So here you can see aspiring champions are returning to the fray, but the Blades of the Blood Queen were doing a fine job dealing with all this stuff. A breath attack doing significant damage to Kolek. That's what, about 10% of his health. And here, Lord of the Storms helping to whittle down these Dread Spears, because they were about to beat these aspiring champions and move their way up. You don't want that. And here, this Shaggoth has taken a significant amount of damage from the Blackguard Nagarond, which again you don't want. So the Kolek and his Dragon Ogre Shaggoth buddy, they're going to be weaving around. And here you can see the Shaggoth is getting between Kolek and Malekith, because Malekith is pretty injured, and you don't want Malekith to be able to push forward and get on top of Kolek. You always want to make sure you got the Shaggoth between the two of them, now that Kolek is so injured. Over here, Marauder Horsemaster, they've just charged in, trying to bog down these Dark Shards, stop the Dark Shards from shooting into any of these units. You don't want the Dark Shards contributing, because they have very good DPS, and you can see they are trying to hit Kolek there. Over here, though, I mean, the Blaze of the Blood Queen and the Blackguard, they should be able to mop this stuff up fairly well. And here it would be a great chance for Malekith to dive down, get a little hit in, and then run off again. It looks like he is going to do just that. So you want to get those hits in. These units have been broken, Dread Spears are gone, and the Gorby's Chariot is still in good stead. Here, this is more of a maneuver to slow things down. There's the Gaze of Mal, it's going to knock him downhill. Not a huge amount of damage on such a small model count unit. And here, Malekith did prolong his engagement here. He was in there a little bit too long, and now final transmutations basically hit the rest of the army. All these guys have pretty much had it, and the Marauder Horsemaster's doing a fine job just getting in the way, you know, they're just having a fine time. The Charybdis is gone, and that was the real thing they wanted to damage. Now they're just trying to keep stuff busy, while the two Shaggoths deal with Malekith here, and the Gorby's Chariot can run through all the expensive infantry. Here, another Soul Stealer, and that's going to hurt. That is going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot. And that will give Malekith some health back, which is definitely vital for him. So here, he's dealing with the Reaper Bolt Thrower crew, might as well. Don't want them getting back online, that'd be annoying. Another Lord of the Storm, hitting the two most expensive units on the board. That's the Blaze of Blood Queen and the Blackguard of Nagarond. Very painful, and that is a missed breath attack, sadly, on Kolek. Poor Malekith. And so Kolek's trying to get out of the way, and he's going to move at 90 degrees in a second. Come on, you gotta move sideways. There we go. And there's the avoidance. Luckily, he didn't get hit by that initial landing, which is pretty great. So here you can see the Dragon Ogre Shaggoths. Well, the Shaggoth, he's in here, causing terror, of course, and the Gorby's Chariot is going to run in and follow this up. So terror is hitting these guys, and Gorby's Chariot is just going to run through what remains, making sure that they break rather than just being terrified. Can do some significant damage. Kolek is getting involved too, just some extra armor-piercing punch, and now the Blackguard have shattered. That is bad news. Here though, Malekith is diving on top of Kolek once more, and again, just run sideways. That's what you always want to do, just run sideways. And here, Gorby's Chariot charging through all the infantry, now 113 kills on him, and the Chaos Sorcerer is being used to bog down the Dark Shards, while Kolek helps finish off these Blades of the Blood Queen, because here, Gorby's Chariot don't really want him fighting Malekith, but it's keeping him penned in. They are really good, they have some good mass, and that's going to keep Malekith stuck for a bit, while the Shaggoth keeps up with him, so that's beautiful. But the infantry is starting to push forward, and the Gorby's Chariot will have to turn around and charge through all this stuff, but charging downhill into all of this infantry, it's perfect for them. It is absolutely perfect. Kills still going up very quickly. Blades of the Blood Queen now shattered, and that's army losses. Pyrrhic victory. I mean, everyone knows that the Chaos Vanguard army is overpowered, so, I mean, could it have gone any other way, really? Seriously, this is the weirdest army, but it sort of works, even though it's just sort of done as a joke. This is just the Gobbo King being weird. Yeah, I didn't mention it was the Gobbo King, right? I mean, you should probably be able to tell from this nonsense. But yeah, you can't do this as a joke, being like, oh yeah, that Vanguard army. Yeah, Chaos Vanguard army, that makes sense. And he went and did it, but actually, you know, these aspiring champions, they're not really going to get a lot of killing done, but with such high DPS stuff, you know, as the Dragon Ogre Shaggoths and the Gorby's Chariot, the Marauder Horsemasters can get a lot of work done. I mean, aspiring champions, they just stay alive forever. They just don't die in a hurry. You know, huge leadership, huge army, huge melee defense. They can keep an entire army busy for a very long time. And that just lets all the big units pick what they want to fight. You know, for a similar price, you just tend to see a big Marauder army instead, maybe with a couple of aspiring champions in there to stop the Marauders from running away. But you don't always necessarily need to bother with that, because they're not there for the killing anyway, so you may as well just go with them not running away in the first place, rather than them trying to make sure that other units aren't running away when you know they're inevitably going to run. You know, so it's kind of weird, but it works. It strangely works. So, that's about as much as I can say on it, I think. I think Dark Elves could have fared a little bit better if they'd used Malekith more aggressively initially, and, you know, fought side by side with the Charybdis. I think the two of them together, with a Word of Pain or whatever they were fighting, they could have dumpstered anything. You know, these two units together, nothing would have been able to stand up to that, and you could use, you know, the Blackguard to sort of cover, you know, your back while doing that. I think that would have worked out beautifully. But yeah, I mean, the Reaper Bolt throws were basically lost cause. As with the Dark Shards, to be honest, the whole back line was compromised. There was no avoiding that. Just too much. You know, even the Gorby's chariots could just push through anything else, because the two Shaggoths can certainly keep the two, you know, units with mass busy. So there's nothing really to chase the chariots down. So the chariots could have done this all day. And 140 kills, not a single model lost. It's pretty obvious. So, yeah, this is a weird build, but it somehow works. So, I guess enjoy. So, guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.